Welcome to the 2022 interviews of the top 5 fastest growing states. I'm Marty Abbott, President of Incentives Management Group. My guest today is the Executive Director of the Office of Economic Development and Tourism, Adriana Cruz. Texas was recently ranked in the top 5 fastest growing states. Let's learn how fast it is growing and why. All right, so let's get started. Thanks very much for sharing some time with us today, Adriana. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, so about me, I have 20 plus years of experience in economic development. I am born and raised in the state of Texas, worked for Governor Perry about 14 years ago, and then worked in community economic development at the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce, and then at the Greater San Marcos Partnership. And now it's my honor to be appointed by Governor Abbott to lead Texas's Economic Development and Tourism Office, and to lead the greatest state in the nation, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's terrific. I understand recently I saw an article that said that the gross domestic product of Texas was the fastest growing in the nation. And you're part of the top 5 fastest growing states, but that was an additional feather in your cap for all of the work you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very proud of that. I think fourth quarter, we had the number one in terms of GDP growth, and we now have a GDP of almost $2 trillion. Significant sized economy and great growth that we've seen these past couple of years.
What do you think are the most important factors that have contributed to being, so successful in the growth?
So a couple of things. I think that, companies are attracted to Texas for a number of reasons. And of course, individuals are attracted to Texas as well. And we're seeing that with the population growth and the migration of folks to Texas. So we're seeing this Texas migration, if you will. And it's, a great business climate, really one of the best in the country, a reasonable regulatory environment, which is important for companies, strategically located in the middle of the country and of North America, a very skilled and diverse population, no corporate personal income tax, robust infrastructure network. And so all of those things together kind of combine to a very attractive location for both companies and people. And, we like to say, back in the 1800s, people were leaving the southeastern United States and putting up signs they were gone to Texas. And I think we're seeing that now, companies and people are gone to Texas.
Well, terrific. What are some of the recent successes that you have had, specifics in the success area that have resulted from all of those positives?
Sure. Well, I mean, one of the things is we continue to be recognized by CEO Magazine as the best state for business for 17 years in a row. We also won from Site Selection Magazine our 10th Governor's Cup, 10 years in a row. And that goes to the states that has the most corporate relocations or expansions in the country. And what that looks like is about 1,100 projects, either relocations or expansions, existing Texas companies that are expanding, and they're creating about 68 billion in capital investment and more than 60,000 new jobs. And some of those announcements, of course, we're very proud of Samsung's selection of Taylor, Texas for their new chip fab for their expansion. Texas Instruments in Sherman continuing to expand, and then Tesla not only building their gigafactory in eastern Travis County, but also announcing that their corporate headquarters is coming to Austin. And that's just a small sample of some of the big names, but we're also proud of the existing Texas companies that are adding 20 jobs and expanding by 20,000 square feet. Because that's what's helping our economy to grow.
That's some success, a series of successes. Congratulations on that. Let's take a brief look look at you as opposed to economic development. Tell me about you personally. What's it like to be you off the job?
What's it like to be me? I need to sleep more. I need to. No, but I mean, it's such a huge honor being an economic developer in the state for so long, and then being asked to lead the office. It's such a huge honor. And I mean, this is a relationship business. And
Yeah.
so the relationships that, I have been able to have an experience with community partners, with site selectors, with our corporations that choose Texas is amazing. But me, I'm a wife, I'm a mom of three, and a new grandma of one.
That's
Um,
terrific.
3 month old, my grandson. So that's new and exciting. But it's just a great job, a great role to be in, and a great time to be doing this in a wonderful state.
The pandemic. Let's focus on that for a second. How has that impacted the state's commerce? Did the government do anything to specifically address that issue from a economic standpoint and how it impacted businesses?
We did, and actually, Governor Abbott took a series of steps at the start of the pandemic to really help our small businesses. And some of the things he did were creating a supply chain strike force. He also created the strike force to open Texas,
Hmm.
which, if you remember, March 2020. The state was shut down, the nation was shut down, and Governor Abbott started to think through, okay, if we were to open as a state, how do we go about doing that in a way that is safe, that mitigates the spread of COVID, that protects lives, and at the same time protects the livelihoods of our small businesses and our business owners? And that really spurred a lot of interest in the state from a perspective, companies looking to locate here because many of them were in states that were shut down. Um, but from our small businesses, he also had waivers that allowed restaurants to sell bulk products to consumers,
Hmm.
allowed the delivery of alcoholic beverages with food, which it actually was so popular that the legislature passed a law allowing that.
Yeah.
Allowed trucks from the alcohol industry to deliver groceries, and so
Hmm.
things to just help the state continue to move forward, and really help our businesses. Another thing that we did, our office, we have the Office of the Small Business Advocate,
Okay.
and we do in-person events. We do about 15 in-person events a year, assisting about 300 small businesses at each of those events. And of course, everybody had to pivot to do online things and webinars. So we did too. And so we started the Governor's Small Business Webinar Series, which was extraordinarily successful. The very first one that we held, we had 4,000 small businesses
Mm.
register and try to attend. And actually, we had set at that time, we were setting limits to our teams meetings, and we thought
Hmm.
4,000, that's a super high number. And that's actually what we got. So over time, we had 17,000 small businesses participate in these webinars,
Wow.
and just learn about resources available to them, how to apply for PPP, what to do with an idle loan, business planning, online sales, like, everything that we could do to kind of help our small businesses get through this time period. The and we partnered on these events with the Texas Workforce Commission, which is one of
Okay.
our agency partners, and they did a whole series of events on unemployment insurance and the different programs that were available if you were unemployed or if you were needing a job. Um, and so there were several things of that nature. And I think one of the impacts of that has been not only did we go from being the 10th largest economy in the world to the ninth largest economy in the
Hmm.
world during the pandemic. We saw an increase in companies that are looking to Texas as a potential relocation expansion site. And we're one of 4 states to add back all of the jobs lost during the pandemic. So we lost 1.45 million jobs, and we've added back 1.57 million jobs. So
That's terrific. That's terrific. So we've been seeing a lot of high tech and automated manufacturing investment from our clients. What are some of the things that Texas has done, is doing to foster innovation?
well, we think Texas is a global hub for innovation. And, we talked about some of the announcements recently with TI and Samsung.
Hmm.
Texas is to the birthplace of the integrated circuit. So
Mm.
we really are working to grow that semiconductor industry and other advanced manufacturing industries, including automotive. We talked about Tesla, but we're seeing other suppliers come into town. Aishin AW, who's a tier 1 supplier to Toyota, Continental, Navistar in San Antonio. So we're seeing kind of a flurry of these advanced manufacturing and automated manufacturing, and also food processing. There was a period of time, I want to say maybe middle of 2021, we had
Hmm.
3 dairy processing facilities in Lubbock, Amarillo, and Abilene, which is a very advanced manufacturing process as well.
Hmm.
But I think it's due to our world-class research institutions, the fact that we really focus on innovation through collaboration. Our IT sector is incredibly strong as well. And I think all of this kind of leads to our being the top high-tech exporting state in the country for nine years in a row. And we think that, Made in Texas is a really powerful global brand, and a lot of companies are seeing that as well.
So talent is obviously a big challenge for most companies today. In Texas, how is the state preparing the workforce to deal with the skills required by businesses?
Sure. Well, one of the divisions in our office, in the Economic Development and Tourism Office, is the Texas Workforce Investment Council.
Hmm.
And this is the group that develops the strategic plan for the state in terms of workforce development. So this division, this group works with the Texas Workforce Commission and other state agencies that have workforce development as part of their goal and mission,
Hmm.
like the Higher Education Coordinating Board, the Education Agency, and also criminal justice, the Criminal Justice Division, juvenile justice. And so everyone is on the same page in terms of what the state strategic plan is for workforce development. And in fact, we're in the middle of that strategic plan right now. So we are working on the 6-year plan
Hmm.
with these agency partners. Um, Texas, through the Texas Workforce Commission, is also home to 28 workforce development boards.
Right.
And so very kind of decentralized and within the regions of Texas, those workforce development boards really work with the local economic developers, with the industries, the local industries, to make sure that they have the training programs needed for that region and for their industries. Um, and so, we have other programs like the Skills Development Fund,
Hmm.
the Texas Talent Connection Grant, that really helps to ensure that we're developing our workforce pipeline as well as reskilling and upskilling Texans.
Well, my team and I have worked pretty much alongside you and your team for the past 25 years. One of our first projects was in Tyler, Texas, and we used a lot of the economic development resources that the state and local level offered at that point in time very successfully for our client. So thank you for a jam-packed, content-rich 15 minutes today, and I look forward to working with you and your team in the future.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for reaching out. And we love telling the Texas story. So appreciate it.
You tell it well. Thanks very
All
much.
right. Thank you.